So today we are going to talk about the agile model. So let's see what is agile model is. Agile model is also a model in SDLC like the waterfall model, iterative waterfall model, likewise. So let's see what is this agile model is. Agile model introduction. The agile SDLC model is a hybrid of iterative and incremental process models. So incremental process and iterative. So here it's a hybrid model. Previously we have discussed about the waterfall model and the incremental model. So this is a hybrid process. So if you are not familiar with this, you can watch my previous videos with a focus on process adaptability and customer satisfaction through rapid delivery of functional software. So we'll discuss about this later. Agile model divide a product into small incremental builds. Unlike waterfall and incremental models, agile model build little products. The whole product they will divide it to small products. So iteratively they are going to build the final product. Every iteration involves cross-functional teams working on multiple areas at the same time. So it is important. So there will be examples. So here, like the SDLC, we have the planning, requirement analysis, design, coding, testing and documentation, and here the deployment, acceptance testing at the deployment. Let's move on. And then how the model works. How does it work? According to the agile model, each product must be handled differently. So this agile model is a customized SDLC model. Unlike other models, it is very flexible. Existing methods must be tailored to best suit the project requirements. So according to the project, you should customize the agile model. Tasks are divided into time boxes. Time boxes means time frames. Certain time is allocated to gather the requirements. Certain time is allocated to code. Certain time is allocated to develop. It's like if we are learning a subject, 2 hours of time is allocated for a lecture, and you have a timetable, and there's a semester. In Agile, to deliver specific features for a release, the iterative approach is used, and working software builds are delivered at the end of each iteration. So if they complete the first phase, there will be a product. In waterfall model, there was a problem. First, they will gather the requirements, then analyze the requirements, then design, then develop and test, and then deploy. So you should wait until 6 steps finished. Until the 6th step, the last step, you don't find a product. But here in agile development, once one iteration is completed, you have a product. So that is the advantage of using the agile model. In terms of features, each build is incremental. The final build contains all of the features required by the customer. How? Because after doing little iteration, it's going to produce a product. Then they will get the feedback from the customer. Then again get the new requirements, then again build it. Right? So it's similar to our famous icing cake example. So the agile throughout process began early in software development and grew in popularity over time due to its flexibility and adaptability. Unlike the waterfall model, it's not strict. In waterfall model, you should finish the requirement gathering first, finished. Then you should go to the requirement analysis, right? Then again should finish the designing phase, then go to the development one. It's like a staircase, step by step approach. You can't jump to the first step suddenly. But here in Agile model, it's very flexible, so you can change the path. You can jump to certain steps easily. You can skip some steps. Let's see. Graphical illustration of Agile model. I will show you some clear images. So it is not clear here. So let me show you some clear images. Agile model, right. So here in this website, so I will update the resources so you can find more about these life cycles. So here we have a graphical representation. So here can you see plan, and here design, develop, test, deploy, review, and again here requirements, design, develop, test, deploy, review. Again you can insert requirements. So it's a cycle, but we couldn't find this type of graphical representation in the waterfall model. It's just a step by step process. So later on we'll compare other models with Agile model. So this is the graphical representation. Scenarios that can use Agile model. Practical example. It is commonly used in scenarios where requirements are expected to change frequently, or where a high degree of flexibility is required to adapt to changing circumstances. If the requirements are not fixed, first they have 10 requirements, then suddenly they have 100 requirements, maybe 1000. So if we use the waterfall model can't cater the changing environment. But Agile model, it's very flexible, so it is best for the changing requirements, the projects with the changing requirements. Here we have 3 examples. Projects in software development with a high degree of uncertainty. Uncertainty means the requirements are not fixed. It may be subject to changes. Agile methodologies are ideal for projects with ambiguous or changing requirements. Ambiguous means not clear. Requirements are not clear and not fixed. And for the complex projects, we can use the Agile model. Agile model methodology can be very effective in projects that are complex and involve multiple stakeholders. So who are the stakeholders? It's a important term. So stakeholders are the people who are interested about the project. So if I say like this, it's little bit complicated, so let me list down. So who are interested about our project? So first one is the customer, obviously, customer. Then we have the developer, and the project manager. He is interested. And we can add business analyst. Likewise, so these are the main stakeholders. Customer, developers, project managers, business analysts. So these are the main stakeholders. So they are the ones who are interested with the project. Projects with tight deadlines. If you have a tight deadline, it's better to have some sort of working product, at least 10% completed. So in that case, you can use the Agile model. Advantages of Agile model. Flexibility, obviously. Agile methodology allows for changes to be made easily and quickly, making it ideal for projects where requirements are subjected to change or unclear. So in the mid of the development, you can add requirements. But when you use the waterfall model, it's like a climbing staircase, you can't jump back. But here in Agile methodology, it's like a rotating cycle, so it's easy to add requirements. And collaboration. Agile methodology encourages collaboration and communication among team members. Unlike the waterfall model, when you are using the Agile model, you should frequently communicate with your peers. It's like if you are getting ready for an exam, so you can get help from your friends always. You can teach them. You can ask their own way of understanding things. It's easy, unlike referring to a book, which is not dynamic. So you can get insights from the other students, how they have understood and how they are remembering things. Stakeholders and customers. Here, it encourages us to frequently get feedbacks from the stakeholders, from the business analysts, the developers, testers, customers. This helps to ensure that everyone is on the same page and working towards a common goal. So it's important to drive them towards a common goal. So you are frequently communicating with the team and they are always updated, so they don't have any misunderstanding. So we have taken a meeting and 50% of our team is not presented. So if we tell we are going to stop the project today, maybe others will still working because it's a communication problem. But here, when you are using the Agile model, you are frequently communicate with the team and they are always up to date. Faster time to market. It means in Agile model, it is focused to deliver a working software soon as possible. So if we use short iterations, this means that organization can get their products to market first, because end of each iteration. So iterations are circles with SDLC, 6 steps. So then we have at least 10% working end product. And customer satisfaction. Obviously, Agile methodology prioritizes customer satisfaction by involving them in the development process and delivering software that meets their needs. In waterfall model, when you gather requirements and finalize the document, you will get a signature. You will have an agreement with the customer. Then the customer can't involve in the development process. They can't change their requirements. It is common in the other incremental model also. But in Agile methodology, at any time the customer can directly contact with the development team and they can change the requirements in the mid of the development. But in waterfall model, it can't be done. It's obvious. Disadvantages of Agile model. We have both pros and cons. Lack of predictability. This is too much flexible, so we can't predict, we can't imagine where will it go, how does it end. Agile methodology can be unpredictable since requirements and priorities may change frequently. This can make it difficult to plan, estimate project timelines and costs, because all suggestions are welcomed, so it's difficult to fix the requirement. Limited documentation. Unlike the other two models we have learned, we can't make a fixed documentation because it's always changing, rapidly changing. Agile methodology tends to focus more on working software than documentation. In other models, first we focused on the documentation part. We will make an agreement. We are going to physically draw the interfaces. We call them as wireframes. Then we are going to schedule the priorities and the time and the resources. and we have a fixed budget also. But here, when you use in the agile model, we don't have fixed requirements, we don't have a fixed budget, we don't have fixed team members. Sometimes we need to purchase new resources, and here, rather than focusing on the documentation, agile model always focus about making something practical, making something working. So that's why it's lack of documentation. So that can be a problem in the future, because sometimes when the customer forget things, he doesn't have a way to refer the customer manual. So if the development team changes, maybe the new development team don't have specifications, documents about the older system. So they should contact past developers and get the idea, because in agile methodology sometimes they are not totally focused on developing or writing a document. So some people don't know about the existing features and how does it work. Only little people know about the big picture. And that's about the agile model. So we'll see some practical examples. So I'm going to go to my browser, and so this is the graphical representation. If someone asks to draw a graphical representation about the agile model, you can draw this. So it's very flexible. You have all the 6 steps involved in the SDLC, and this is a circle. So this is how you illustrate the agile model. So you can differentiate the agile model versus other models, agile model versus waterfall model. So you can find graphical representation. Here the popular one is Geek for Geeks. So this one is also fine. Can use anything here. In agile model, it's like a circle. We called one circle as an iteration. So here requirements, design, develop, test, deploy, review, again launch, likewise. So here in waterfall model, it's a linear process. Requirement, design, develop, test, deploy, maintenance. Only one way. And if we use the other graphics, it's also same. Here you can use anything. Requirements, design, implementation, testing, maintenance. It's like a staircase. So this is a circle. So that is the main difference between the agile model and the waterfall model.